Hi, I'm Nick with DuramaxTuner.com. The reason you're watching this video is because you've either purchased or are thinking about purchasing a DT44 Stealth Turbocharger for your 2.8 liter Duramax. The purpose of this video is to talk about what comes in the box and give you the best head start possible on doing the install and getting your truck running to its optimum condition with this turbocharger. Okay, so what's in the box? The DT44 Stealth Turbocharger. Okay, that's what you're expecting, that's what you paid for. Also in the box, the rod. Okay, this rod connects your turbo to the actuator. You're not going to be receiving a new actuator in the box, so you're going to be replacing the factory actuator onto the Stealth DT44 turbocharger. Keep in mind we send our custom rod that is matched to the sweep and the travel limits of the DT44 turbo. Do not, I repeat, do not use your factory actuator connecting rod with the turbocharger. Use the rod that comes on the turbo. It'll come clipped right here. Okay. We use a precision measuring process to get the right size rod for the turbo. It's critical that you use the rod that comes on the turbocharger. Okay. What else is going to come in the box? You're going to get one of these C-clips, E-clips, Jesus clips, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so one side of the connecting rod will be on the turbocharger. The other side, you're going to have to clip to the actuator. You might get lucky and be able to salvage your stock clip. If not, we have a replacement clip for turbochargers. Okay, to my right here is our gasket kit. Now this is an optional product. It's available for purchase with the turbocharger. It includes all the gaskets and studs necessary for the removal and replacement of the turbocharger. Let's go through each gasket so you know what it is. Manifold gasket. The turbocharger manifold has to come off of the head in order to remove and replace the turbocharger. Here's a new gasket to the head. To the downpipe. So the DOC comes right off the back of the turbocharger. This is a gasket for that flange. It only goes on one way. Okay, so pay attention. Check it out when you put it on. Same with the manifold to turbocharger gasket. Now, this is a close fit. So you may think you have it perfect and it's just not quite right and you might start shoving bolts through it. Don't do that, okay? Look at it when the turbocharger is off the truck so you know which way it's supposed to go, and you're going to put the turbocharger on the manifold off of the truck anyway. So you have no excuse not to line these up nicely and get the perfect fit. Keep in mind high pressure exhaust gas flows through this hole, so you want to make sure everything's lined up really nicely, okay? Take your time, do it right. Okay, just a real quick note on the turbo to manifold connection. Of course, we supply this gasket, but you may also see a donut on the manifold side, and it would be a circular donut style gasket right here just on the opposite side of this flange. There's no need to replace that donut. Okay, don't remove it, don't replace it, simply use this gasket and everything will be fine. We've done enough of these to know that it works just fine. These are new AC Delco O-rings gaskets for your oil feed. They go on either side of the banjo. Okay, good stuff. Don't reuse the factory stuff. These black gasket donuts are for the coolant lines. There's 4 coolant connections. You're going to remove 3 of them, and these are to replace those three coolant connections. Keep in mind when you replace those coolant connections, those factory donuts have a tendency to stick. So make sure you look. Don't double donut them. Don't double gasket them. Anytime you've removed a gasket, make sure it comes off. Okay, you're going to get new studs. So the factory studs, they might be in good shape, they might not, depending on how many miles the turbocharger has on it. We're going to supply you with new studs, both for the turbocharger to manifold connection. Okay, you're going to see when you pull your factory turbocharger off where those studs go. We're also going to give you new studs for the downpipe connection. And then for each of the new studs we give you, we're also going to give you new nuts. And those are featured here. Okay, so pretty basic stuff. Couple more things I want to go over real quick. MAP sensor. So when you replace the turbocharger, you may opt to replace the manifold air pressure sensor. Here's a condition where you would want to replace the manifold air pressure sensor. If you're looking for more power than the truck makes tune only, then you'll need to be able to see boost pressures above the tune only power level. Okay, so the factory MAP sensor only reads to 29 psi gauge pressure. So if you want to make more than 29 psi of gauge pressure, then you'll need a larger MAP sensor. Now that's an option. We can sell you that piece, or you can buy it somewhere else. But regardless, if you install that manifold air pressure sensor, remember the tune has to be installed at the same time that that manifold air pressure sensor is replaced. You can't run an old tune on a new map sensor or an old map sensor on a new tune. It'll totally mess with the way the truck runs. You don't want to do that, okay? So those two things have to be done at the same time. If you elect to use your factory map sensor, take a look at it, clean it. Use MAF sensor spray. It's a good way to clean the map sensor. Sometimes they get a little carbony or gunk on them. Good to spray them off. You should be able to see the blue balloon when you put it back in. That makes sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. If you're looking to run a stock tune or looking to run at power levels in line with the factory turbocharger, so that 230 horsepower at the rear wheels or so, you can continue to use the factory map sensor. You can continue to use the stock tune or the tune that you were running in the truck. It's just when you want to go up and take advantage of the extra airflow of this turbocharger that you'll need the larger map sensor and the bigger tune. There's a video that we made from about a year ago that shows the use of an L5P map sensor on the 2.8. We now have a map sensor that is plug and play, doesn't require any adjustment to the harness. It's simply a remove and replace map sensor. It's important to let your tuning update contact know which map sensor you're using, either by part number or by common name, or send them the data sheet for it. But not all map sensors are created equal, and they all have different scaling, and that scaling has to be built into the tune file. Another noteworthy item, you're replacing the turbocharger. It's good to drop the oil, so do an oil change, and also it's good to boost test the system. And what I mean by that is supply pressurized air to the face of this turbocharger. Once it's installed on the truck with all the requisite intercooling pipe, that'll make sure you have a tight system and you're taking advantage of all the air that the turbocharger is used are able to move through the system. We sell a Stealth Boost Tester kit, or you can build your own, and make sure that the system is tight so that you get the most power possible out of the kit. S&B intake or other high flow intake. The factory intake is pretty well neck down right at the entrance of the turbocharger. And what that does is starve the turbo for air as it tries to pull air into the system. The S&B has a really good flowing setup. It's a little bit louder than stock, but it's worth at least 10 horsepower on the dyno. We've tested it multiple times. Of course, whatever airbox you're going to use, just make sure you're running a clean filter and everything's tight. From here, I'm going to bring in our tech Jaden. He's done about a dozen, if not more, turbo swaps on this truck during our testing. He's had the turbo and manifold off at least that many times. He's got a few tips and tricks that may help you, may not. Whether you use them or not is up to you, but don't say we didn't tell you. All right, Jaden, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for swapping the turbo a dozen times.
Hey.
Okay, so you brought a few specialty tools with you. Can you tell me what that socket over there is for?
So this is just a E10 socket, which is basically an inverted Torx. So you're going to need this to change out the map sensor. Okay. Because GM, they don't want just anybody taking their bolts off. Right.
Okay, you got a few crow's feet for me?
Yeah, the two crow's feet here. This, you got a 13 mil and a 7/8. The 13 mil is just for when you separate the turbocharger from the exhaust manifold, because inside here you can tell it's real tight with the milling and you can't get a socket straight on there. The 7/8 is going to be for your coolant return line, which would attach back here, and then it comes down to the side of the block.
Okay.
The reason you need the crow's foot is because the oil drain also runs right next to it, and there's no way for you to fit a wrench in there.
Okay, so you're talking about the block side connection?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get a good shot of that for you to see.
Shot of that.
But you said you use a nice long extension in that 7/8 crow's foot to get that block side connection on.
Yeah, and you got to be careful because sometimes it's the block, a fitting, then the connection. So sometimes the fitting spins and not the actual nut.
Okay.
So you notice that you cracked it loose, that line's still not moving, more than likely that fitting spun out of the block.
Okay. Is it replaceable?
You can. I mean, the worst case scenario is you just got to get a wrench in there to hold it, so then you can crack it loose. Because I've never seen them get damaged. It's just sometimes they come out before the nut wants to.
As far as replacing the actuator, anything out of the ordinary there?
No, replacing the actuator is pretty straightforward. The biggest thing you got to worry about is the little circlips on the end there, because when you pick them off with your pick, they tend to just go flying.
Okay.
I mean, I know we send backup ones, but yeah, just watching that, and so you don't stab yourself with a pick because it's pretty tight to get in there. But as far as lining it up, it's pretty much, can't miss.
Okay. So you're going to leave the actuator attached to the metal plate that it's affixed to.
Yeah.
And you're just going to
Oh, though, when you remove, if you're removing, say, the whole charger, you're going to want to remove the actuator completely. It's not that you have to, but it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Okay,
as far
so the
as
actuator comes off in the truck.
Yes.
Okay.
I've done it both ways, and I found that it's much easier to remove the actuator because just getting the heat shields off and everything, it works so much nicer.
Yep, okay. We're going to take the actuator off in the truck before we remove things, and we're going to put the actuator back on in the truck after the turbocharger manifold is reinstalled. Anything else that I should be aware of?
The only thing I could think of off the top of my head is that I know on the ones I've done that have more miles, the studs tend to come out with the exhaust manifold, because it's studs sticking out of the block and then they're nuts. But a lot of times on the other ones, the nuts stick to the studs, and you got to separate the nuts from the studs when you reinstall them. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to get all the threads into the block that you want.
Okay. Okay. So if studs come out of the head, make sure you
make sure you take the nuts off, put the stud back in the head, then install it. Don't install it with the nut on there like it's a bolt.
Right. Okay.
But on this truck, we've taken it off so many times I haven't ran into the issue, but the ones I've done that have been on the road longer, most of them did come out.
Okay. Hours-wise, if you got a truck that comes apart nice?
I'd say if you got the proper tools, truck that comes apart nice, you could probably turn it around in 6 hours from hood open to hood shut.
Okay. So there you go.
As far as the Duramax turbo, you're not going to find anything faster than that.
Right. So if we're doing it in the house, 6 hours. If you're doing it in your driveway, probably plan on a full day or more. All the more reason to take your time and do it right. Cool. Well, that'll summarize it for now. Last thing I want to leave you with is boost limits. After you get the turbocharger on the truck and you get to driving it, I want you to log the truck and I want you to look at the boost limits. There's a sheet that's going to come inside the box with your turbocharger that has the boost limits based on altitude. Now, at sea level, this turbocharger is capable of making, and we've tested with emissions equipment, about 285 rear wheel horsepower at 37 or 38 pounds of boost. That's all the amount of boost that we would recommend for the turbocharger. Anything more than that's going to move a lot of hot air and potentially damage the intercooling system and overspeed the turbocharger. As you go up in altitude, that boost number comes down because the air is thinner, turbo is not as efficient. That's just the way things work. So that sheet, line up your altitude, line up your boost pressure, and you'll see, okay, this is the maximum boost pressure I'm allowed. That sheet only works if you have a map sensor that reads up to the boost pressure that is on the sheet. If you're running a factory map sensor, remember it maxes out at 29 psi. If you somehow overspeed a turbocharger and fail it and send it back and it says maximum boost recorded 29 psi, the first thing I'm going to think is, did this customer have the right map sensor for the tune that's on the truck? Okay, so let's make sure those things are matched up. Let's make sure that we respect the maximums. If your tuner has any questions, if you're not using us for tuning, and your tuner has any questions on tuning the vehicle, I have a script. I have example tune files that I can share. That your salesman can easily send those to you, and you can forward them along to your tuner. And those are things that are going to help you get the quickest response out of the turbocharger, and also help you keep things safe as long as possible. Again, we've tried to make this as simple and easy, and as plug and play as possible. But inevitably, you might run into a snag here and there. That's where you can find us, 815-568-7920. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jaden.
Thanks again.